communication climate is the social tone of a relationship. It's how people interact with each other within their relationships. Every relationship has its own communication climate. Communication climates can be a positive or negative, and they can be changed. That's why it's important to understand them. Let's take a look at two different types of communication climates within a daycare setting. To set the scene, we have three characters: Goat, Troll, and Bear. Goat and Troll work in the preschool room together. Goat is feeling overwhelmed with the amount of work she has been taking on lately. Bear is a brave person within the daycare who Goat complains about Troll. As we will find out, Troll has her own set of issues going on. In the first scenario, we will see an example of a disconfirming communication climate. Let's take a look at scenario 1.
Oh my god, I'm so sick of working with Troll. She's always on her phone lately and not looking after the kids.
Oh, I know. I had to cover her breaks this week, and she was at least 10 minutes late every day. Because of her, I'm always running behind. It really pisses me off.
Tell me about it. You should try being stuck in the room with her all day.
You should go let her have it.
Hey, I need a word with you.
All right.
You need to start pulling your weight around here. You're never off your phone. You're always late. I'm the one who has to watch all the kids, and I'm so sick of doing both of our jobs. What the hell is your problem?
What's wrong with me? That's bullshit. You're the one that's always leaving work early. Yet your timesheet says you've been here all day. And don't even get me started on your role modeling capabilities. You're always stuffing your face with candy.
Hey guys, I can hear you all the way in the toddler room. How is this happening in front of all the children right now?
I'm just so sick of her crap! I'm done! I can't handle working with her anymore!
The feeling's mutual.
Things got pretty bad, didn't they? Now let's see how things could have been handled in a confirming communication climate. Scenario 2.
Oh my god, I'm so sick of working with Troll. She's always on her phone lately and not looking after the kids.
You sound really angry.
I'm just really frustrated.
You know, you're right. I've had noticed Troll has been a little distracted recently, but I'm sure she's got her reasons. Maybe there's something going on in her personal life that we don't know about. Either way, I don't feel comfortable talking about her behind her back. Have you talked to her about how you're feeling?
Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't be talking about her behind her back. I'll ask her if she has some time after work today to maybe go for a walk or grab a quick coffee so we can talk. I really need to sort this out with her. I don't want this situation to escalate. Thanks for meeting me. I love the coffee here.
Oh yeah, no problem. The coffee here is pretty good, eh?
Yeah, so the reason I've asked you to meet me here is because I've noticed a shift in our room environment. You seem to be distracted and you are on your phone a lot lately. And because of this, I've been doing more than my fair share of the work in the classroom, and I'm feeling really overwhelmed. I'm wondering if I've done something to offend you, or is there anything else going on with you?
Firstly, I appreciate you coming to me and asking me personally. You're right, I've been distracted lately, and I can see how this has made more work for you. But I want to be honest with you, and the reason I've been distracted is because my mother is in the hospital right now and it's not looking good.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea.
Yeah, I've been constantly checking my phone because I've been receiving regular updates on her condition. And yeah, I'm sorry this has affected our classroom. I want to thank you for bringing this to my attention because I've been so preoccupied with my man and I hadn't even noticed how much this was affecting you.
I can imagine this must be a really hard time for you and your family right now. My father was very sick in the hospital about 3 years ago, and I know how concerning it can be. I'm sorry you didn't feel comfortable enough to tell me.
You're right, I can see now. I should have told you. But in my culture, we are not told to bring our personal issues to work. But I guess I have done that anyways, right?
Yeah, well, you know what? Thanks for telling me now. I really appreciate your honesty, and I want to know that I'm here to support you. But I still need to say that I can't continue doing all this work on my own. I really need your help in the room. I think we need to come up with some kind of solution. Do you think you might want to take some time off to be with your mum right now? Or what else can you think of that will enable you to be more present in the room?
I don't want to take any time off right now. So I think what I really need to do is not to have my cell phone on the floor with me. It's just too distracting and makes me feel anxious. So what if I'll do this? I'll tell my brother to call the center if anything big happens, and otherwise I will only check my phone on the breaks. How does it sound to you?
I think that sounds like a really good plan. Let's start tomorrow. And I just want you to know I'm always here to listen, and let me know if anything else comes up and if there's anything I can do to help.
Thank you again for organizing this meeting. I feel much better having everything out in the open. And also thank you for your support. I really, really appreciate it.
Of course. Okay, so should we plan to meet again in a week or so, and you can let me know how everything is going with your mum? And we can check back in and see if the plan is working or if we need to make any adjustments.
That sounds good to me.
Bing.
That seemed to got a lot better, didn't it? Researchers have identified 6 specific areas of communication that can lead to constructing either positive or negative communication climates. In each of these areas, a defense-arousing message is presented along with its opposite option. Evaluation versus description. Evaluative messages judge the other person usually in a negative way. They judge when the other person is feeling rather than explaining their own thoughts, feelings, and wishes. Notice in the first scenario how each of the staff members judge each other's behaviors. They use a lot of statements. You're never off of your phone. You're always late. These kinds of evaluative messages trigger defensiveness and usually lead to attacking responses. On the other hand, descriptive messages offer your thoughts, feelings, and wishes without judging the other person. They make specific, concrete observations and focus on behavior that can be changed rather than personal characteristics that cannot. You'll see in the second scenario, Goat has changed her language to I statements. I have noticed a shift in our room environment. I'm feeling overwhelmed. Descriptive messages tend to be I statements, which may be less likely to provoke defensiveness than you language. Control versus problem orientation. Control communication occurs when someone seeks to control another. Notice in scenario 1 when Goat says to Troll, "You need to start pulling your weight around here." Goat is imposing a decision with little consideration for the receiver's needs or interests. And, as you see in the scenario, when people act in controlling ways, defensive communication climates tend to result. In problem orientation, the focus is to find a solution that satisfies both parties' needs. As you see in scenario 2, Goat has shifted her communication to problem orientation. She states her intent using I language. I think we need to come up with some sort of solution, and offers a suggestion on how to handle the situation. Do you think you want to take some time off to be with your mom right now? And then ask Troll what she thinks will help solve the problem. What else can you think of that will enable you to be more present in the room? The goal here is to make everyone feel like a winner. Strategy versus spontaneity. In strategy communication, speakers hide their ulterior motives. Spontaneity, however, simply means being honest with other people rather than attempting to manipulate them. Notice the shift in the communication climate in the beginning of each scenario. In each scenario, Goat starts out with her same complaint, perhaps with the intention of having Bear join in with her complaining about Troll. In the first scenario, A's strategy works and Bear joins in. In scenario 2, however, we see Bear using spontaneity. She agrees with the truth that Troll has been distracted lately, but is also honest with Goat and tells her she doesn't feel comfortable talking about Troll behind her back. Neutrality versus empathy. The essence of neutrality is indifference. Not once in scenario 1 do either Goat nor Troll demonstrate any kind of regard for one another's situations or feelings. Neutrality communicates a lack of concern for the well-being of another and demonstrates the other person isn't very important to you. An opposite and confirming behavior is empathy, which shows care and concern for the feelings of another. It is accepting another's feelings and putting yourself in another's position. Notice the difference empathy makes in scenario 2. Troll is empathetic to Goat, having had to work a lot harder in the room recently, and Goat is empathetic to Troll's mother being sick in the hospital. She uses the self-disclosure of her father having also been very sick in the hospital to demonstrate she is putting herself in Troll's position. Superiority versus equality. Messages of superiority are patronizing. They say, "I'm better than you," or "I know more than you," and as such are very likely to provoke defensive responses. Scenario 1, we see Bear making references to her superiority. "Don't even get me started on your role modeling capabilities," implying that her own role modeling to the children is superior to Goat's. On the other hand, messages of equality recognize that other people have just as much worth as themselves, regardless of their amount of knowledge or talent in a particular area. In scenario 2, we see both Goat and Troll constantly checking in with what the other thinks about each possible solution. Here they are demonstrating respect for one another, both personally and professionally. Certainty versus provisionalism. In a certainty orientation, people are positive they are right. They know that their way is the only proper way of doing something, and they insist they have all the facts and need no additional information. This way of communicating disregards the ideas of others and demonstrates a general lack of regard for other people. In contrast, provisionalism permits people to have strong opinions while they acknowledge they don't know everything and are willing to change their position. If another seems more reasonable, this orientation often surfaces in word choices. Again, we notice the differences in the two scenarios. First, we see the general lack of regard both Goat and Troll have for one another in scenario 1. Neither one is concerned with the feelings or idea of the other. We hear languages such as can't, never, always, must, and have to, while in scenario 2 we hear provisionalism, which is indicated with perhaps, maybe, possible, might, and may. So as you can see from the two scenarios that were presented in this video, communication climates range from positive confirming environments to negative disconfirming atmospheres. By becoming mindful of the language and tone used in our conversations, we are able to direct and develop the style of communication climate within each situation.
Pump the jam, pump it up while your feet are stomping. And the jam is pumping. Look ahead, the crowd is jumping. Pump it up a little more, get the party going on the dance floor. See, 'cause that's where the party's at. You'll find out if you do that. Moonlight, a place to stay. Get your booty on the floor tonight. Make my day. Moonlight, a place to stay. Get your booty on the floor tonight. Make my day. Make my day. Make my day. Make my